some goals for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. I hope everyone's Saturday is starting off fantastically. Thank you for bearing with me and waiting for this show to kick off an hour late today. We will be back on schedule at noon tomorrow Eastern. I just had to parent for a little bit, drive my daughter somewhere. So apologies to all of you waiting for these picks. We're going to jump right into these games. Let's make some frickin' money. You are right. There's plenty of opportunities to make some frickin' money out there on the ice. Let's get it done today. We're going to go over every game again. I will do a recap at the end of the show for anyone who cannot hang around. The first game kicking off here at 1:10 Eastern will be between my Calgary Flames and the Buffalo Sabres. This one has a total of 6.5 at plus 108 to the over, and I'm actually shocked that we're getting plus money to the over in this one. I'm expecting a high-scoring battle between these two teams. Both of these teams can have lapses defensively, and while Calgary has had some success in goal in some of these games, I do think the Buffalo Sabres will be able to hit Dan Vladar in this game. When we look at the Sabres themselves, I expect them to be able to find the back of the net, and Lankaken here will allow those goals to come in as well. Both of these teams should be strong offensively. Now, Mantha is out of the lineup for the Calgary Flames. I'm going to look the momentum the Buffalo Sabres have built, getting that huge win over the Rangers. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the first period, but I'm going to look at the first period over 1.5 goals coming in at minus 122. Now, you can look at both teams to score as well. Calgary off that loss in overtime to the Boston Bruins, 4-3 loss out there. I do think this isn't a battle of divisional rivals here. Higher scoring game, full game to the over, but first period over 1.5 for my best bet in this one. We're going to fly through these, you guys. I know everyone doesn't have a lot of time. This is college football Saturday. We know that, and you guys can find me over on the grid today from 3:30 Eastern to 7 o'clock with Scott Wetzel. Will be live betting all of the college football games, getting you prepared for the games that will be kicking off. The Dallas Stars taking on the Winnipeg Jets. It's crazy to step in front of Winnipeg. This team rolling a 3-1 on the season. They're coming in as a pick-em price, so kind of scary situation versus the Dallas Stars. Minus 110 to either way. Total of 5.5. The 5.5 juice to the over. I'm taking this one under that total, you guys. Under 5.5 between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets, coming in at plus 102. You look at the goaltending matchup. Jake Ottinger here for the Dallas Stars. We know Dallas really tries to lock down. They've got a strong kill, fourth best kill in the league. That PK coming in at 86.4%. When we look here at the Winnipeg Jets, phenomenal on that power play. That power play is one of the best in the leagues, converting 42.1% of the time. Another really strong kill. Their PK coming in at 80%. Jake Ottinger versus the Winnipeg Jets. Strong numbers in his career with a .922 save percentage and a 2.26 goals against average. He's just been that strong. And when we look at Connor Hellebuck, 10-1 this season, the best numbers in the league. And we look at him versus the Dallas Stars. This season, he's got a 1.91 goals against average and a .932 save percentage. When we look at him versus the Dallas Stars, that save percentage is still sitting above 900, you guys. I think both of these goaltenders locked down 2-1 style game. Now, give me the under 5.5. I do lean to Winnipeg just because of how dominant they have been to be able to get the win here again at minus 110. Now, they've won their last 5 games. That last one was that win over the Colorado Avalanche, 5-1. This game has every opportunity of going to OT. The overtime bet coming in at plus 380. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. Those props, first period under wins yesterday. I'm glad that you guys cashed on that. That makes me happy to hear. The Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Florida Panthers will be at 6 o'clock Eastern tonight. Now, you've got to wonder when fatigue is going to catch up with the Florida Panthers in their last game out. They're able to dominate over the Predators in a game where I thought we would see that fatigue from returning from Finland after sweeping the Dallas Stars over there. Will they start to show fatigue against the Philadelphia Flyers in this game? I do think you can count on the Panthers in the first period. This team has just been so dominant, so strong in the first period to hit Erzin quick, get up in this game. Can they hold the full game? Possibly. I do think this is a team where I don't want to step in front of them, but I also don't want to bet them for the full game at this point because I do think fatigue will set in at some point. I'm going to take the Florida Panthers in the first period on that puck line, laying a half a goal at plus 122. The Panthers just seem so strong at the moment. They're averaging just under 4 goals at 3.82 goals per game. Bobrovsky expected in net. They are holding their opponents down, especially when the opponent has that power play opportunity. Their PK coming in at 86%. Now, strong kill here for the Philadelphia Flyers as well. Their PK is 4th best in the league, almost at 90% of the time. So I do think this is a lower scoring game. I would look at this one to stay under the total. When we look at the lines on this one, total 6.5, minus 115 to the under. We also see the Panthers a big favorite. You got to lay 1.5 on the puck line at minus 106. In a low scoring game, I don't want to do so. And I'm only going to look at the first period. So give me the Florida Panthers in the first period on that puck line, laying the half a goal. It's plus 112, you guys. We're getting a great plus money there. This is the last road game for the Flyers as well. They're home on Monday versus the Sharks, and then they hit the road again versus the Senators. I could see the Flyers falling to the Sharks in that one-off home game. I don't like those scheduling spots off road trips, so that's something to look ahead to. That is on Monday versus the Sharks that they will, especially if they get the win here. I could see it being a huge letdown spot in that game versus the Sharks. Now, when we look at the Panthers schedule, the Devils on deck on Tuesday and then Thursday. So it's interesting. They play the Devils Tuesday, Thursday, and then they hit the road again, and they play the Jets home and then road for 2 games as well. So they've got 2 teams on deck, 4 games between the two. It's going to be a lot. Fatigue is going to start setting in for this team. Let's look at the New York Rangers, often embarrassing, and I'm talking a complete embarrassment, losing that game to the Buffalo Sabres. What was it, 6-1 loss for the Rangers? It was terrible. It really was, especially for our wallets. They are on the road versus Red Wings, who are on the second night of a back-to-back. Plus 168 here for the Red Wings, minus 205 for the Rangers. Total 6.5. The juice to the total is on the over. I'm going to look at the Rangers to come out strong in the first period. I'm going to take them on the puck line in the first period, laying a half a goal at plus 140. Would I be shocked if the Red Wings grind this game out and get the win by the end of the day? Not at all. Jonathan Quick expected in goal for the Rangers. I should be a bounce back. I'm looking for first period bounce back, at least for them. They're off. This is a one-off road game. That loss was at home to Buffalo. They're home Tuesday versus the Jets, Thursday versus the Sharks, at Seattle next Sunday. And when we look at Detroit, second night of a back-to-back, they did lose to the Leafs last night. That game was pretty tight for quite a while in that game. But the Leafs did end up winning 3-1. So second night of a back-to-back here. First home game off 2 games on the road. It's always a tough spot, but I do think the Red Wings can put up a battle at the end of this game. So I don't want to take the full game. Just the Rangers puck line first period. Adam Fox, I really do think Adam Fox for the anytime goal coming in at plus 330 is a strong way to look in this game. We know Adam Fox is strong out there on the ice for the Rangers. We have another Original 6 meeting today between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs, again, played the Red Wings last night, were able to get a 3-1 win. They're now a $2 favorite versus the Montreal Canadiens. This total is sitting at 6.5. The juice to the 6.5 is to the under. The over is coming in at plus 106. I would go over before I went under in this one, just because you look here, Sam Montague versus Joseph Wall is your goaltending matchup. Sam Montague, while he stood on his head in a couple of these games, has been allowing those goals to come in more rapidly. And Joseph Wall, while he's got solid numbers, I still do think Montreal will be able to contribute to this total. I'm looking, because this is a rivalry game, the battle of the Atlantic out here between these two, with how Montreal plays Toronto always for this one to be a 1-goal game. Give me Montreal plus 1.5 on that puck line. Now, it's juicy. It's coming in. The juice has gone up way too high, you guys. Montreal now on the puck line plus 1.5 is minus 148. Earlier in the day, it was minus 140. Shop your lines out there, see what you can get. I do think those goals are coming in this one. It's William Nylander for Toronto for me if I'm looking at who I think is going to get on the board. We were able to get Mitch Marner for the anytime goal last night. Hopefully you guys cash that. Austin Matthews still not on the ice. We have seen him go over to the IR, so that's not a good thing for Toronto, but Toronto is able to still win without him on the ice. Cole Caulfield here for the Montreal Canadiens. Not my favorite game here, but I do think on the back-to-back, Montreal at some point will keep this game tight. If Toronto goes up by a couple goals, I will be coming back in on Montreal plus the 1.5, plus the 2.5, whatever the books are giving us. Remember, Montreal is one of those teams you want to circle, and you want to bet them when they go down. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, this team is young. They're scrappy. They will never say die in one of their games, and they fight to the bitter end. Let's talk about the Washington Capitals now, taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now, the current lines on this, the Washington Capitals minus 126. This team off a loss last night versus Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. 4-2 loss for the Washington Capitals. In a game I thought Ovechkin would step up. Ovi not able to get us a goal, let alone the hat trick that we laddered up to. I do expect Ovi to really show up. He's going to be frustrated today with what he saw out of himself last night out there on the ice. At least Sid got us those assists out there. The St. Louis Blues at home plus 105. You guys know I'm big believers in the Blues, but I do think the Washington Capitals, this offense has been high octane. Their veterans have really been stepping up. Their young talent have been contributing as well, and I do think they can get the win. Now, they're minus 126 on the money line, this total of 6.5. It's a bounce back for me. Give me the Washington Capitals. Give me Ovi for the anytime goal at plus 155 and Ovechkin 2+ goals at plus 1100. You guys, it seems crazy after what we saw last night, but I do think he should be able to find the back of the net at least a couple of times in this game. This is a Washington Capitals team that is averaging over 4 goals per game. They were knocked down last night, held to 2 versus a rival team in the Pittsburgh Penguins. I do think they bounce back in this one. The St. Louis Blues, home versus the Bruins on Tuesday before a road trip. They've got 3 games on the road coming up. They got the Sabres Thursday, the Bruins again on Saturday, and the Canes on back-to-back night on the Sunday after facing the Bruins. So that's their look-ahead schedule. The second night of a back-to-back, of course, for Washington. Binghamton expected here for the St. Louis Blues. I do think Washington gets it done, you guys, and bounces back. And you know, after last night, what we took for Ovi, if he comes out and gets the hat trick tonight, I'm going to be so mad that I bet it last night, not tonight. So that's why I'm taking the 2+ goals for Ovi. I'm not going to take the hat trick. I will look at the 2+ goals for him because it's plus 1100. Let's do Montreal plus 1.5 at minus 135. I like where you're getting those odds. You got better odds than I was able to get earlier in the day. I got it right around minus 138. Now I'm seeing minus 148 on FanDuel. So yeah, shop those lines, you guys. So very important. This game is what I'm looking forward to. The Ottawa Senators versus the Boston Bruins. We have the goalie matchup we all want to see, right? We have Allmark versus his former team versus his brother in Swayman. These two absolutely love each other, but they're going to be on opposite ends of the ice tonight. Allmark in for the Ottawa Senators, Swayman in for the Boston Bruins. Current lines on FanDuel, 5.5. 5.5 at minus 120 to the over when the Ottawa Senators absolutely can score in this one. We will see a couple goals out of the Bruins. I would take that over. Minus 120 to the over. I want to see if there's any goalie props, and there is. This one makes me so excited. Allmark for his save shots on goal. coming in at 26.5 for Allmark. Nothing yet listed for Swayman. The Boston Bruins, we look at this team. Their kill isn't great, 75.8% of the time. We have a elite power play here. For the Ottawa Senators, they are converting 31% of the time. 3.46 goals per game. I do think Ottawa is going to win this one. Current lines on this. Allmark, remember that number, 26.5. Current lines on this, plus 115 for the Ottawa Senators. We're losing value. It was plus 120 earlier. Plus 115, sign me up for the Sens. I do lean to the over 5.5, but I think with how Boston is going to react to Allmark being in the other end, we see those shots coming in. I'm going to take Allmark over 26.5 save shots on goal. The Boston Bruins have been getting those shots. They just haven't been getting a lot of high danger shots, which has resulted in not as many goals in some of these games as I would have expected out of Boston. They will be coming hard at Allmark. It's going to be all friends, and he's going to get cheered when he comes into the building, only probably to be booed as soon as he makes that first save. But I love this matchup. I think we're in for a great game between these two. 5.5 is just too low. I think we got 6 goals. Maybe there's an empty netter coming into play in this one. But I do think Ottawa. Yeah, we're taking Ottawa to get the win. Good afternoon, Larry. Let's make some frickin' money today out there on the ice. The New Jersey Devils and the New York Islanders. Next one on deck. Again, I will recap all of these plays at the end of the show, you guys. The Devils are minus 134 versus the Islanders. Islanders home dog at plus 112. Total 6.5. The juice to the 6.5 to the under at minus 134. This is a lower scoring game, in my opinion. I think the Isles can win it in a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the under 6.5. I know it's juicy at minus 134. And I'm going to take the New York Islanders to get things done. The goaltending matchup should be Jacob Markstrom and Sorokin here. Now, I know the Islanders have had some poor games out there on the ice, but I'm looking for some positive movement for this team, for them to start owning more their zone and getting that puck away from their opponent. The New Jersey Devils, I do think they're in for some negative regression here. They have been playing strong. They've won their last 2 games. They got the win versus the Ottawa Senators 4-2 after a shootout win versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. I just look at this matchup. They've got the Oilers on Tuesday, and then the Kraken on Thursday. The Canucks on Thursday, the Kraken on Saturday, the Flames on Tuesday, the Red Wings on Thursday. They've got a really hard schedule. Versus the Isles here, this is a battle of the Metro. We know divisional opponents, they've got this circled. The Isles have this circled. I think they pull off the win at home. Now, they've already won this season versus the New Jersey Devils. They were able to get the win on October 25th. So short time ago, 4-3 win. It's going to be another tight game, you guys, but I think 3-2 win for the Islanders in this one. Yeah, it is scary with that total of 5.5 for sure. Can't even get over 5.5. So scary. Yeah, it really is. We used to see a lot more higher totals. Let's look at Utah versus the Nashville Predators. The Utah Hockey Club coming in at plus 128. The Nashville Predators at minus 154. Who wants to lay minus 150? I don't. I'm not laying that much juice on the Nashville Predators. Both of these teams absolutely struggling right now, you guys. They can't get a win to save their lives, it feels like. This total, 6.5. Minus 128 to the under, plus money to the over. Can Nashville, the struggling Preds offense, finally light up the lamp tonight? They'll be facing Connor Ingram in net for Utah. Utah's having the struggles of its own. This team has won twice in their last 8 games. We've seen the Preds win once in their last 6 games. It's not pretty. Preds have lost last 3 games in a row. Last game to the Panthers, 6-2. I thought they were going to be able to get that win versus the Panthers. I look at Utah's defense, and I do think the Panthers have a stronger defense. I'm going to look at the Predators to come into this one and be able to score. I'm going to take their team total over 3.5. It's coming in at plus 108. Sarah's expected in goal for them tonight. He's got a goals against average of 2.85. I would take the full game to the over because we know Utah has some high-octane players out there like Clayton Keller that never give up in these battles But I think Saros is in for a better night. I'm going to look at the Predators to be able to go over their team total. I won't lay the juice at minus 154. There's no way. If I'm backing anything for the Preds, it's got to be plus money because this team's let me down so many times. 4-9-1 on the season. So give me the Preds team total over 3.5 in this one, and let's keep our fingers crossed that they can find the back of Connor Ingram's net tonight. You guys, we're going over each and every single game. We're going to move on to the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the LA Kings. Current odds on FanDuel for this one. Let me just find them here. The Columbus Blue Jackets plus 172. $2 favorite here for the LA Kings. We got a total 6.5. The 6.5 minus 105 to the over, minus 115 to the under. I'm going to go over this. I really do think Columbus will push the LA Kings into a game that they don't want to play, which is a higher scoring game. I do think we get over the 6.5. I think this is a 4-3 style game, one that Columbus has every opportunity of getting the win. Now, because Columbus is such an underdog, the value is taking Columbus straight up on the money line when I think this is going to be a tight battle. At plus 172, I'm willing to take a chance. Now, they have had struggles on the road this season. They're 1-2-2 on the road. The LA Kings have been strong at home, 3-1-1. At home, but this team hasn't spent a lot of time at home, and they're looking ahead. They're second in the Pacific. They're facing a team sitting fifth in the Metro, sixth in the Metro here with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they're looking ahead. They have Calgary on deck on Monday, so there's not much rest, you guys. Then the Avs on Wednesday. They're off that loss to the Vancouver Canucks, which, yes, they're going to want to get right back in form, but I do think Columbus with Monahan out here have every ability to pull off the upset. This is the first night of a back-to-back for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They have the Anaheim Ducks on deck tomorrow. They are off that overtime scrappy loss with the San Jose Sharks, which they lost 2-1. So give me the over 6.5. I think that is the best bet of the game. And then Columbus to pull off the upset at plus 172. We look at the trends to the over. The Blue Jackets 7-3 in their last 10 games to the over. The Kings, their over is 4-4 and 2 to the over. So we've got some pushes there. Carolina versus Colorado. You guys, this game feels really trappy, right? The Carolina Hurricanes rolling into Colorado at only minus 130. The Carolina Hurricanes, yeah. The Colorado Avalanche at plus 108. We got a total of 6.5, minus 120 to the over. We know that Colorado can't keep the puck out of the back of their net. Their defense is letting them down. But they're coming off a game where their defense did step up. Goaltending did step up. They lost to the Jets, but they held the Winnipeg Jets to only 1 goal. That was quite impressive, what we saw out of them on Thursday. Carolina's rolling in here, winning their last 8 games. They're so hot. They were able to get a big win on Thursday versus the Pittsburgh Penguins of 5-1. Now, this is the first road game of 3. They have Vegas on deck on Monday, so that's definitely a look-ahead situation. But they're not going to look past Colorado and then Utah on Wednesday. When we look at Colorado, they have the Preds on deck on Monday, the Kings on Wednesday. They're not looking ahead. They're sitting 6 in the Central, 6-8 on the season. They need absolutely every win they can get. The Carolina Hurricanes 10-2, first in the Metro. Why are they only minus 130 here? Yes, Colorado is getting respect, but I do think Colorado has the ability to get the win here at home, pull off an upset. Now, they're going to have to play smart hockey out there because the Carolina Hurricanes don't allow a lot of chances on goal. They don't allow those shots to come raining in. Their defense has played strong. Colorado needs to play like they did versus the Winnipeg Jets. They need to limit the Carolina Hurricanes, not allow them to get shots on goal in this game, and then they'll have every opportunity of winning. So give me the plus 108 in this game for Colorado. I would look at the over at minus 120, but I think it's because Colorado actually is the team who scores the majority of the goals in this game. Chekhov expected in net for Carolina. I think we can see Colorado win this 5-2. I really do. I think Colorado is going to go off tonight offensively. Next, let's look at the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Vancouver Canucks. The Edmonton Oilers minus 120, plus 100 for the Vancouver Canucks. My favorite bet of the day. Just give me the Canucks, and then the Canucks, and then the Canucks. And then I'm going to take the Canucks, you guys. If you're looking for my favorite bet, it's the Vancouver Canucks. They are facing the team that they swept last season. But then in the playoffs, Edmonton eliminated them. Do you know how bad of a taste that the Vancouver Canucks have in their mouth thinking about Edmonton rolling into their building? with Connor McDavid back on the ice, I do think the Vancouver Canucks come out and completely dominate here versus the Edmonton Oilers. Plus 1.5, you can't do. Alt lines here for the Vancouver Canucks because I can't remember what I got that alt line at. Let me just look here, you guys, because that's where I would go. There could be overtime, yes, at plus 360. If you don't like the alt line, I would put a little bit on that. But this is going to be a revenge game. It absolutely will. You go against a team that eliminated you, and there is no way that Vancouver hasn't had this circled all year, all preseason, all offseason. They know they need to take down the Edmonton Oilers, especially with how far Edmonton went. The Vancouver Canucks laying 1.5 on the puck line is plus 240. I've already bet that one, you guys, and I would get that bet in. That is my favorite bet of the day. Minus 1.5 on the puck line at plus 240. So it's going to be a battle of the Pacific here. Stuart Skinner expected for Edmonton. Again, Vancouver swept them in the regular season, but then Edmonton kicked them out of the playoffs. It was brutal for Vancouver, and that was all the way in Game 7 versus the Edmonton Oilers. So Brock Besner here for the Vancouver Canucks. I would look at him to find the back of the goal if he gets in this game. He is listed day-to-day right now. Leon Draisaitl did a good job holding down the fort without Connor McDavid. Quinn Hughes has already 14 points for the Vancouver Canucks. I would look at his points tonight as well. Young, scrappy player out there that's able to get things done. But Vancouver's won their last 3 games. Their last win was versus the LA Kings, holding the Kings to only 2 goals, getting a 4-2 win. Edmonton has lost their last 2. Last game was Wednesday at home to the Vegas Golden Knights, 4-2. So sign me up. Big win here for Vancouver. Let me know if you guys are liking the Vancouver Canucks. Thank you so much for being here, our Leafs. We're going to quickly recap everything, and then I'm going to send you guys on your way. Have a fantastic day, you guys. Let's make some freaking money. Dominate the books today, okay? The Calgary Flames, this recap. Calgary Flames versus the Buffalo Sabres. Give me the first period over 1.5 goals at minus 122. You know, I always like the both teams to score. So if you want to sprinkle on the both teams to score, you're going to get great plus money. The Dallas Stars versus the Winnipeg Jets. Give me a lower scoring goaltending duel here between these two. Give me the under 5.5. I know it's low. It's plus 110 to the under. The Philadelphia Flyers are taking on the Florida Panthers. I do think the Panthers can get up in the first period, laying 0.5 goals coming in at plus 112. I do think the Flyers could pull off the upset here today. So I will be live betting the Flyers if it plays out the way I expect. I'll put a little bit on that money line. I always say some spare change to throw on those money lines when I think there could be an upset happening, but one team going up first. The New York Rangers versus the Detroit Red Wings, another situation where I could see the Rangers losing, but I think they win in the first period. First period puck line for the Rangers, laying the 0.5 goal at plus 140. Again, I will come back on the Red Wings to get the win if they go down like I expect. Adam Fox, I'm looking for the anytime goal for the New York Rangers as well. The Montreal Canadiens versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Give me Montreal plus the 1.5 at minus 140 for my best bet in that game. The Washington Capitals and the St. Louis Blues. I do think the Caps are in for a bounce back after losing last night to the Penguins. Give me the Washington Capitals at minus 126 on that money line. Give me Ovechkin for the anytime goal at plus 150 and for 2+ goals at plus 1,100. The Ottawa Senators and the Boston Bruins all mark over the 26.5 save shots on goal tonight for the Ottawa Senators. It's so weird. He's with the Sens. We got the goaltending battle that we want to see. Allmark versus Swayman. I think Allmark and the Sens get the win. Give me the Senators at that plus money on the money line. It was like plus 120, dropping down to plus 115, but I still think holds so much value. The New Jersey Devils versus the New York Islanders. I do think the Isles are barking at home, giving the Isles a plus 114 in a lower scoring game under the 6.5. The Utah Hockey Club versus the Nashville Predators. I'm waiting for the Preds offense to wake up. I think they wake up in this one. I would expect it to be a higher scoring game, but I think Saros is in for a solid night. So give me the Preds team total Over 3.5, it's plus money at plus 108. The Columbus Blue Jackets versus the LA Kings. Give me the over 6.5 in this game at plus 102. Give me the Columbus Blue Jackets to pull off the upset at plus 172, you guys. We're getting crazy over here on a Puckett with Joe. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Colorado Avalanche. First period, over 1.5 goals. I think Colorado pulls off the win here at home. It's going to be a hard one versus Carolina, but I do think with what we saw out of them versus the Jets that they can get things done tonight. And then the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vancouver Canucks. If you skipped ahead and you're just listening, it's Vancouver, 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 Vancouver tonight for me. I think they absolutely dominate Edmonton. They've had this game circled. This is the team they faced in the playoffs that eliminated them in Game 7, that they swept in the regular season last year. Vancouver, you can take straight up on that money line. The money line coming in at plus 100. I'm taking the reverse puck line. I'm laying the 1.5 goals at plus 240. Brock Besner, if he's on the ice, should come out strong. Quinn Hughes as well. So you guys, that's the recap. Look at those anytime goals. I like it. You guys, all those anytime goals cashing big. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you so much for joining me here for Puckett with Joe. We will be back tomorrow at the regular time, noon Eastern. You guys, all the best. Join me over on the grid today, talking everything college football. I can't wait to check these scores. I'm kind of jonesing right now. I don't know about you guys, but when you can't see the scores in front of you in some sports, it's kind of hard, right? Like, yeah. The Buffalo Sabres already up 1-0 over the Calgary Flames. Nice live betting opportunity for the Calgary Flames, you guys. Plus 240 on the money line. They're only down a goal in this game. That's your live look. And then join Scott and I as we live bet these college games this afternoon. Yeah, that is crazy. Calgary at plus 240 right now on a FanDuel, just down a goal. We know the Calgary Flames can score, and then you can come back and hedge on the other side once Calgary is able to go up, coming back in on Buffalo. So it's something definitely to look at. Again, I was expecting that first period to go over 1.5 goals. We need one more goal in this first period. It's got 7 minutes left, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. We will see you back here tomorrow.